For the last few weeks, a debate has been raging right up the road in Tampa over a monument dedicated to the Confederate soldiers right next to the Hillsborough County Courthouse. County commissioners voted narrowly not to move it, but under growing pressure, they are rethinking that position. There have been similar debates from South Carolina to Louisiana, but not so far in Bradenton. And Kate Flexter is here to explain that. Kate.
Well, thanks, Alan. Bradenton's statue has been there for nearly a century, and now people are taking a look back at its history as well as its future.
Rodney Jones passed this statue every day.
You'd walk right by it.
And never really noticed it.
I never paid attention to it.
Until one day he stopped and really looked at it.
It's very dark history and a very dark time for many African Americans in this country.
In memory of our Confederate soldiers, reads the statue, paying tribute to Confederate generals Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. Donated in 1924 by the Daughters of the Confederacy, the statue has sat right next to the county courthouse for nearly a century. It's a symbol Jones, the NAACP president in Manatee County, has come to associate with racism. As we talk, a car parked right in front of the statue proudly displays a Confederate flag license plate.
I think it's more savvy than it has been in the past. It's not so much right in your face. It's done through policy, it's done through other measures, but racism is very much alive and well.
We stood out here for about an hour to see what exactly Manatee County residents think about this statue. The vast majority told us they've actually never really noticed it, but a lot of them said they think it should stay.
I think that's part of our history.
It's history here, and I believe it should stay here.
Only one person told us she disagrees.
To just the random person that walks by all the time, what's it saying? That we're in the South and we still feel that way?
It's a debate facing communities across the nation. In New Orleans, a Confederate statue was removed. In Orlando, it was simply relocated. And in Hillsborough County, commissioners voted for it to remain, although continued backlash and protests are resulting in commissioners rethinking their decision.
Race is at the forefront of people's minds right now, so is tolerance and equality.
The Southern Poverty Law Center says there are 1,500 Confederate statues in the country. The recent spotlight on these monuments, a symptom of the growing political divide in our country.
I think we're living in a time where, where the United States is more racially polarized than ever. This is due to the political climate that we're living in. It's due to a number of other factors as well.
50 miles east of the statue in a town called Arcadia, Confederate flags, signs, and bumper stickers are a common sight. At the town hangout, the Last Chapter Coffee House, nearly every customer is related to a Confederate soldier.
They're American veterans, and they deserve that respect. They fought to defend their country against an invasion.
Confederate supporter Leon Arthur says taking down these statues is erasing history and dishonoring his ancestors. But he says efforts to stop it are futile.
The judges don't listen. The politicians don't listen. The system does whatever it wants to do because we have no state rights.
Arthur claims the battle's still ongoing, calling the Civil War a war of northern aggression.
I believe the South was right in 1860. I think they're right today, and they're going to be right tomorrow, and we'll get our independence one day.
But for Jones, this is not just a statue. It represents what he calls a culture of inequality.
And if you look at incarceration rates, unemployment rates, health disparities, academic attainment, anything that spells prosperity, we still lag so far behind other populations. So at some point you start to wonder, like, what about me being encased in this beautiful brown skin here? Like, it's so causal for me to have such a challenging time here in America.
As of right now, there's no organized effort to remove the Bradenton statue.